What's up, everybody, and welcome to TinkTink.org interviews. I'm your host, Josh Wilson, here today with 8-Bit Studios and Skara, the Blade Remains co-founders, Mr. Cesar Ortega and Pablo Rodríguez. How are y'all doing today?
Very well, thank you very much. How are you doing?
Hi there.
I'm fine. All right. First off, how did each of you get into gaming?
Pablo, do you want to go for this one?
Can you repeat the question, please, Josh?
Sure. How'd you first get into gaming?
Yeah, the first, I don't know, I have to go back like 10 years ago when I started to do graphics for my first game. And a few years after, I was working full-time in graphic production for indie video games and for games for advertising. And I don't know, then suddenly 4 years ago, I started to write about the Skara, about this amazing project. And the last year I contacted back with Cesar, this is one of my ancient friends. And we started to collaborate together for this project.
Yeah, on my side is slightly different. I used to play a lot of video games with Pablo many years ago when we grew up in Spain. I remember we used to skip classes pretty often and hide in the street until our parents left their houses, and then we would go back and spend hours playing. But to be honest, I kind of got disconnected a little bit for the last few years, and just Pablo kind of back in touch with me a few months ago, and he said, "Hey, do you want to help me to launch this great project that I keep telling you about every time I see you?" And it's like it looked like now the time. So let's try and let's see how it goes. We started working in the business plan, and well, all the pieces came together. We raised some money from friends and family, and we launched. So from January 2013, we started building the team, and well, here we are a few months later with a great team of 13 full-time people already, and yeah, a product that hopefully will be alive in the next few months.
Hopefully so. All right, now, Cesar, now besides working on Skara, you're also president of the Oxford Business Alumni chapter in London, and
Yes.
you're a relationship manager for the Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation in Tokyo, Japan. So first off, how did you find the time to co-found a gaming company?
He doesn't sleep. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, that's a very good question. I always tell everyone I think sleeping is overrated. And people tell me, "You're crazy. I love sleeping." And don't take me wrong, I love my 4 hours of sleeping, but that's all I do. So yeah, it's well, as you say, it's at the moment I'm kind of doing 2.5 full-time jobs. It's pretty crazy, but I have no weekend off, no time off. I'm basically working from 7 in the morning until 2-3 a.m. every 7 days per week. So yeah, well, but I think I could pass on this project. It's way too good. So I said, yeah, I'll catch up with sleeping next year. Who cares?
Now, with this background of being in banking and whatnot, what made you decide to get into the gaming industry?
Well, actually, I always wanted to run my own company, have my own show, right? And I've been thinking about what exactly to do. Um, a lot of people come to me every day because I actually, well, I did an MBA and I work in the finance industry. I deal with businesses every day. I have a lot of friends who come to me with business idea, business plans, financial plans, and I got a lot of opportunities to take a look at very cool projects. But you see, none of them did convince me properly until now. And knowing Pablo for such a long time and knowing his experience in video game was crucial to make me change my mind with this project and just go for it. also the fact that I'm actually in this industry is somehow related to the finance industry has also helped me a lot, because now I can perfectly do the financial models, and for this company I can run the accounts, I can keep control of expenses, and it has helped me a lot actually.
Nice. And how about you, Pablo? What made you decide to get into the gaming industry?
Well, I played video games like forever. I remember my first computer was an MSX, and when I discovered the user's guide with advice on how to program with basic code, I started to work in my first projects. And I was like 8 years old in the middle of the 80s, and I started to work in the creative industry, working in graphic design, animation, but I keep playing a lot of video games. So when the moment arrived, the choice was obvious. I needed to work on video games. So has been a long journey since then, but I'm quite happy with the direction of this project.
Awesome. Now, what do co-founders such as yourselves exactly do at 8-Bit Studios? Besides not sleeping, I would assume.
Yeah, yeah, but in fact, I'm actually at work right now. So there's 13 hours right now today, and I'm editing one of the video updates for the Kickstarter campaign. Basically, I'm acting here in Barcelona with the production team as a creative director and project manager.
Yeah, the way we're kind of divided a little bit is Pablo is just taking care of all the production of the product per se, of the video game, and I'm more in charge of the finances. I'm raising the money, and a little bit of keeping track of expenses, relationship with investors, and also helping with the media.
All right. Now, is Skara the first game that each of you have worked on?
Well, it's the first game I have worked on, that's for sure, but not Pablo. Pablo's been involved in a few of the projects, and of course the rest of the members of the team. Pablo, do you want to say a little bit about that?
Yeah, we have recruited a team from the most prominent companies of video games here in Spain and in the whole Europe. We are talking about Eurocom, Ubisoft, Social Point, a lot of big companies. So at the end, we recruited a team that has a lot of experience in the field of video games, not only indie video games but also AAA.
All right. Now, how is co-founding your own company and working on your own game? How has that been different compared to any of your other jobs or game developing jobs?
Yeah, well, I have to say that I didn't know how crazy was going to be to launch a Kickstarter and a crowdfunding campaign. You have to split your time in two, because at one hand you need to work on the campaign of the updates, working with media, working with Twitter, with Facebook, and creating and engaging an audience. But I also need to work with my team on the game development. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, Pablo. I think probably for what I've seen, your experiences has been more so far actually in basically developing video games, right? So uh, a big company would come to you and would say, "Hey, here's the money, just do this," and then when the product is finished, just give it back to me.
Yeah.
Exact. So the big difference is actually everything that myself or Pablo were not used to do, which is actually the fundraising before the beginning of the game, and and after that they put the game in the market. Those two things are probably the most difficult things we are encountering because of the lack of experience in that respect. Now, I think that's where we've been kind of a little bit lucky. And on one side, my experience in the finance industry has helped in the fundraising side of it. And to be honest, we're gonna have to keep working very hard when the project is done, just to be able to put it in the market. Because we haven't even thought about all the things we have to do. Like, well, we have started to think about them, right? Like monetization and stuff. But the how do those things work? Like, how do the coins in the game, the money in the game is going to work, the interaction with real money, with people actually spending money in the game. Those things we haven't actually figured out completely. So it's going to be a long journey still.
Now, for those of us who don't know about Skara, could y'all tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, for sure. We are trying to create a game with an accurate combat system, because I love fighting and combat games with kind of medieval ambience. But all the combat system that works with the keyboard and the mouse doesn't work properly as I wanted to do as a player. So I always wanted to create a game with accuracy and where the skill of the players is the main key. So I think that we want to create a game that works in multiplayer with the speed and fast-paced combats, but at the same time that requires a lot of skills from the players.
Yeah. But basically, I mean, my view is probably to summarize a little bit of all that Pablo has said is during the years playing video games, we always thought that there must be a video game out there that is better than this video game in this respect, or we like this feature of this game, but we don't like this other feature, or if this game had the graphs of this other game, but the controls of this other one, that would be great. So we've basically been working or we are working towards creating something that we always wanted to play, right? And that require to take specific characteristics of 2, 3 different games that we love and try and put them together. So that's basically what we're trying to do right now.
Right. Now, Cesar, you've described Skara in previous interviews or videos that Skara is like a mix between Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, and Street Fighter. Now, could you explain why you chose those 3 games to describe Skara?
Yeah, that's that's a big question, and believe me, a lot of people are asking about that question. It's creating quite a lot of debate. We do not pretend to be any of those games, or I wish we can get as successful as any of them. But what I was trying to say is just to build up on the answer I gave you earlier. Is we wanted to take specific characteristics of these 3 games, for example, right? So from Call of Duty, we like the environment, we like the middle age, we like the action, the brutality, the multiplayer. Actually, the multiplayer action is something that we like from that game. The ranking systems, we wanted to take that from that game instead of. Now, from Call of Duty, we wanted to take the graphs and we wanted to take the action, the fast action, and also somehow, but not exactly, the player's position. Like, what Call of Duty is a first-person game, we're creating a third-person game, which is slightly different. But I think the action and the way to play is pretty similar. And lastly, from Street Fighter, we love the controls and the we love the fact that you can do combos and control the player much more accurately than in other video games. Like for example, in Call of Duty, yeah, you have you can shoot with plenty of different weapons, right? But basically, you can kill someone either shooting or maybe using the knife. We think that's kind of limited. We wanted to create, and we're working towards creating a game which will allow you to control the players way more realistically and actually allow you to attack from the left, from the right, from the top, from the bottom, and also use the combos that we are working on. So that would probably be a summary on about why I try to explain the game using those comparisons.
All right. Now it seems that the combat system in Skara is what really sets it apart from other games. Would y'all like to go more in depth about it, or you think you covered everything?
Yes, Pablo, you want to say something else?
Something about the combat system.
Yeah.
Precisely. We are releasing in just 2 or 3 hours our first, well, our second video update that is focused just in the combat system. So in just a few minutes, you will be able to see how this combat system works. Basically, we want to take the hand-to-hand combat features from versus fighting games, like not just Street Fighter, but also Tekken or Virtua Fighter. That those are games that we love, and combine into the action of a multiplayer first-person game like Call of Duty.
All right. Now, calligraphy is being used for the main title of Skara. Now, how extensively is this style used, and how important is it to the overall game?
Whoa, I think this question is for me. Well, I'm as a creative director, and I work in on the graphics for video games for many years, and I wanted to create something unique, and at the same time working with some style like handcraft, and I'm trying not to imitate the reality. That is something that the most advanced video games do, but trying to work in more artisan way. So when we call Ivan, that is our calligrapher, he was happy to help with this amazing fonts that he creates, not only for the game but also for every one of the races.
Right.
Yeah, just to build on that, we wanted the game to be seen as something creative. We are putting a lot of effort on the design side and on try and make as much as we can handcraft to make it as much as we can kind of like artistic, right? So the fonts are one of the things that are handcrafted. Not only, as Pablo said, in the name of the game, but also the name of the races. And we've kind of created our own actually alphabet with handcrafted own design fonts. And that's reflected not only in the fonts, also in the designs of the characters that we are using. You can see everything has been very, how to say, we put a lot of effort and time in actually trying to make it like very, I cannot think about the word right now, but basically handcrafted could be a good way to put it, or artistic.
Right. Now, there seems to be a lot of social interaction going on in Skara between the players and like Twitter, Facebook, just everything. Could you explain how all that's going to work together?
Yeah, but one of the things we want is to be surprised from the players reacting how they are going to play and interact together in Skara. For this reason, we are trying to create a social interaction between them, not only playing with your friends, as you can say, as you can do in most of games, but also collaborating and competing together to create new factions, new armies, design the stories and the graphic design of every new faction. Because a player who reaches the top position in a faction will be able to fund his own city, his own place in the map of Skara, and compete against other players and interact with them to become the best. Basically, we are looking for the best warriors in Skara. It's not about playing a lot of time. It's about to be the best.
Yeah, is also um, we we have decided that we wanted to create a game that people like. So we we're not only trying. We have a concept, right? This is something that we would love to play, but we're giving the opportunity to a lot of people to influence the creation of this game. So we decided to try and reach as many people as possible through as many social media tools that we can reach. So we have experts in Twitter helping us. We have experts in Facebook helping us. We we have we try to do as many interactions with the fans as we can, and you can probably see that our fan base is raising a lot. And this is not only we're not only getting feedback on small things that we want people to help us with. And I can probably tell you in exclusive here, we're launching an illustration competition in the next few days, just to ask people around the world to help with the design actually of one character in each one of the 5 races. And when we have all the designs, we're going to put them in Facebook and we're going to allow the whole world to vote on those designs. And you know what? The design with more likes is going to be the design that we're going to use to the game. So that's basically what we're trying to do, is to create a game created by gamers as much as we can.
Very nice. Now, Pablo, you mentioned the best players will be able to found their own factions. Now, how is that going to impact the game overall?
Well, it's going to impact a lot because, the most competitive players will be able to join a faction and try to reach the top position. So at the end, they are going to compete among other players to become the best warrior in each faction, and then to found their own faction, design, put it a name, and found a city and put it in the map of Skara, and try to build a new place, a castle, a fortress, and try to defend it from the enemy raids. So it's for the people, for the players who are more competitive, is going to have a lot of impact.
Now, will there be a limit to the amount of factions that can be created overall?
A limit for the creative level of the people. Well, we don't know at this point. We don't want limits for our players to create things on Skara, but for sure there it will be limits about the things that they can create. But I still don't know.
Yeah, I don't think we have decided how many factions are going to be. Yeah.
No, we have not. It's limitless.
Oh.
I mean, but only the best ones will survive. Because if you quit playing Skara, your faction is going to disappear. So only the best factions, the more powerful ones with the best players will survive.
All right. Now, according to the Kickstarter, there will be no leveling. Leveling system. Could y'all explain how that would work?
Yeah, no, it's not, because it's one of the features that a lot of games release, but we want only the skill of the player will be the measure of the of every warrior. So if we introduce the leveling system, of course, a player with a level of 10 will be better than a player that is a newcomer. So we want a newcomer to be able to defeat one of the top players during the battle if he owns a more skilled character. But it's about the players, not their characters. It's just the skill that they have. Something similar what happens to versus fighting games. If you are good with Tekken, playing with Tekken, when you will defeat almost everyone, no matter if you are trying for the first day the new version of Tekken, you are going to be good with that.
Right. Now, well, besides leveling, will there be any type of experience points that the player can put into something, or how will that work?
Yeah, depending of your success on the battlefield, you will increase your rank. You will gain experience, and you will increase your rank and get access to more fancy weapons and armors. But your character is not going to be more powerful than the others.
All right. Now, currently, how many races and arenas do y'all plan on making available at launch, and will there be more available? And if so, do y'all have like a maximum amount that you are planning for?
Well, that's a very good question, and the quick answer is depending on how the Kickstarter campaign goes. But well, initially we have 5 races, and we are thinking about 5 races and 5 arenas, and then one big coliseum. If we double the amount of money in Kickstarter, we are thinking about creating a couple more races, a couple more scenarios, and if we don't, we'll see. We're gonna have to cut it down. So,
All right. Currently, I do believe it's been stated that the current player size of a battle can be 8 versus 8. Now, is that limit? Do y'all plan on raising that limit for the future, or is 8v8 what it's gonna be?
Yeah, we are willing to raise this number. This is the number we have tried here in the studio with the alpha version, and it works. I guess you know that it's difficult to create a massive multiplayer game with a lot of animation, a lot of different attacks. So we need to take a lot of care with this, and if we can, for sure, we will implement 16 versus 16 battles and growing. But by the moment we are focusing just in 8 versus 8.
yeah, hopefully with the new generation of consoles, that will be easier and easier after some time.
All right. Now, your team has stated that if enough money was raised during the Kickstarter, an arena editor would be included. Now, assuming you do raise enough money to include the editor, would it be the same tools that the development team is using, or would y'all create an editor specifically for the players, or how would y'all go about that?
No, we will create a specific editor, because giving to the players the same tools that we use here in the studio maybe will cause a lot of bugs and glitches. So at this moment we are thinking to create our own editor, and not release an SDK.
All right. Now, if enough money is not raised, hopefully you do raise it though. But if enough is not raised, would there be plans to release the editor eventually?
Yeah, but maybe maybe we will release it. I don't know, like more later.
Yeah, that's later.
Right. All right. Now, Skara is primarily meant to be played online, I would assume, but an offline mode has been mentioned. What do y'all have planned for that?
Yeah, as we are planning to release not only online modes but also and five story modes for every one of the races, and the Ord mode that will work both offline and online and offline.
Awesome. All right. Now, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, basically the multiplayer one will have to be online, of course, but the history and the horde mode should be able to play on and offline. Yeah.
Right. Now, are there any features in Skara already announced or otherwise that you're personally excited about? Either one of you?
Well, specifically myself, I'm very excited about what I mentioned a few minutes ago, which will be the. It's not for the game per se. It's for actually now. It's for the design phase. Is the illustration competition, and I'm sure Pablo is also excited because I like drawing very much, and I'm actually looking forward to participate. And that's what I'm more looking forward in the short term. What about you, Pablo?
Yeah, I'm willing to see the designs for the new factions and the versions of the illustrators do about our races. Yeah, I'm pretty excited with this.
Yeah. You mentioned also, Pablo, during the game, you're actually looking forward to see how the societies develop, right? And how people engage together and create clans to destroy other factions, and something that we cannot control at all. Right? And it should be very cool to see what people decide to do.
Yeah. I'm guessing what in which way the players are going to surprise us.
Very nice. Now, so far, how has the development been going with Skara?
Well, right now we are in the 5 months of development. We are starting to work in our second arena. We have the first one complete. We have right now 2 of the races fully developed, and we have our third character modeled in 3D. And right now we are starting to add animations and the fighting style for him.
And I would assume Kickstarter, if that's successful, would help immensely. But why should gamers hop on Kickstarter right now and throw money at your team?
Well, of course, first of all, to be able to participate in the creation of the game, um, I mean, it's still debatable whether we will be able to finish the game without the help of Kickstarter. And the other way they will help will be actually by being part of the beta testing. That I think it's super cool if you can actually um, give feedback to the team. We're going to create direct lines of communication between the beta testers and the team, of course. Of course, we're also giving great rewards, not only digital rewards that will be fantastic to use during the game, as special weapons, rankings, honor points, but also physical rewards that we are designing with a lot of care and preparing to ship as soon as possible. Um, and I'm not sure if I'm forgetting something. Yeah, of course, very, very important. During the game, people will be able to spend money in, as Pablo said, fancier weapons, armors, and to build stuff in their own arenas. And we are giving away 100. Right now, we're giving away 150% of the money pledged back to the players to spend in virtual coins.
All right. Now, besides giving money to the project, are there any other ways that people can help out with Skara?
Yeah.
Well, spreading the war and sharing with friends in social networks will be so helpful.
Yeah.
Helpful.
Absolutely.
For us.
We've created the pay with a tweet that I'm not sure, but I haven't seen in any other Kickstarter campaign earlier. And we kind of engage with Twitter, and so everyone who supports the team or talks about Skara with a Twitter will be able to identify and to actually send a reward for them. So every help spreading the voice through Twitter, Kickstarter will be very helpful and even rewarded.
Yeah, and one other important thing that we forgot to mention is that we are choosing among our fans the 5 main characters of the story modes.
Exactly. Yeah, for all the backers, we're going to do some kind of a raffle, and we are going to allow them to create the main characters of the story mode, and be able to design the weapons, the armors, the names.
Put their faces on it, of course.
Exactly.
Quite an incentive to help. Now,
Yeah.
what about volunteer work? I mean, I know it's not the not always the most reliable thing, but if someone's looking to boost their resume with sort of an internship or anything, would y'all be accepting that at this time?
Absolutely, and we have already done that. We have, oh my God, we have so many people helping us in exchange of experience and with the promise that if the project goes ahead and we can hire people, actually do it. Like, I mean, I can think of like some of the guys who are helping us with the social media are actually doing it just voluntarily, as you say, just to help. Like the music, um, the the music creators, the how you call them, the team who is putting music to the video game
Composers.
is the composers. The music composers are actually working voluntarily, helping us with the promise that we will actually help them back when the project launches. And who else? Pablo, can you think of? Yeah.
Well, we have some 3D modelers helping us with some weapons. For example, we have here a girl that is modeling our first crossbow. So she's not working full time with us, but she's helping as many as she can.
Exactly. Actually, Pablo's brother, Kuro, he is also volunteering, working also part time in the office team. We have people in Spain, but also in the US helping, volunteering to the project.
And if someone would like to volunteer, how would they go about doing this?
Well, we probably will have to identify somewhere where value can be added, and if that is clear, I personally would be extremely happy to bring as many people as possible.
Yeah, and if they put a comment on our Kickstarter site, we answer all the comments, and we will be happy to get help from the users.
All right. Now, besides actual volunteer work, if your team is able to hire any more full-time employees, what kind of qualifications would y'all be looking for?
Well, at this point, we really need an extra couple of animators, maybe one or two programmers. So we need from them to be able to animate with Maya, for the programmers to work with the Unreal Engine. It will be nice.
All right. Now, you just mentioned the Unreal Engine, so that was one of my questions. What engine? But it's been answered. All right. But how has it been working with Unreal?
Yes, the Unreal Engine is quite powerful, so allows you to do a lot of things that in other way we should spend months to figure out how to solve. So at this point, we are quite happy with the engine, and we find a lot of documentation online to create some things that we never thought that we were going able to do. So for me, is the perfect choice for the engine.
All right. Y'all will be showing Skara at E3 this year, correct?
Yes.
All right. Now, how will the gamers where will they where can they find y'all?
Well, we have a booth at the South Hall. The booth number will be 2559. And we're going to have two beautiful models dressed up as two of our characters in the video game, just trying to attract as many people as possible. So if you see a girl dressed up like a ninja and someone else dressed like Conan, someone from the Conan movie, handing out flyers for Skara, the Blade Remain, just follow them and come join us in our booth. We are actually preparing a competition, an inside Twitter competition, in which if you upload a photo while you are at the booth in Twitter, we will you will enter into a raffle to win also a prize. And Pablo, have we decided that prize yet?
Yeah, of course we did. The chosen one is going to be the first main character for one of the story modes. So we will put his or her face on the main character of the story mode.
So we encourage as many people as possible to come to our booth, take a photo with us, and well, of course, say hello and tell us what they think about the game and give us some feedback.
Very nice. Now, what platforms are y'all shooting for with Skara initially, and how will distribution be handled? Like, will it be a physical copy or digital or Steam or something like that?
Pablo?
Yeah, sorry, there was people phoning me. Can you repeat, please?
Oh yeah, no problem. What platforms will y'all be shooting for with Skara initially, and how will the distribution be handled of the game? Like, will it be a physical copy or will it be digital, like Steam or something like that?
Okay, yeah. We are releasing the first version of the game for PC, Windows for sure, maybe Linux and Apple, and we are willing to develop Skara for the next gen consoles, and for the next year we are willing also to develop the game for mobile platforms, such as phones and tablets.
All right.
And why not on the upcoming Steam box if finally it happens?
Hopefully so. Now, currently, is there a release date that's been decided upon? And if so, is this date dependent on the success of the Kickstarter?
Yes, of course, of course. Unfortunately, so I think we're thinking about releasing the open beta of the game by Christmas 2013 if everything goes okay. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So you should expect us to release the beta, the open beta by Christmas 2013.
All right.
Again,
Anything? I'm sorry.
No problem. Again, it will depend on the success of the Kickstarter campaign, of course.
All right. Anything else either of you would like to talk about concerning Skara?
Well, no, I think we talk a lot.
Yeah, I think
So,
it's been a pretty comprehensive interview. Basically, just to summarize, I would say for all of you who are going to come to the E3, please come visit us, our booth in the South Hall. And just please keep supporting us through the Facebook pages and also help us Kickstarter.
All right.
yeah, and for example, if you put a comment on Facebook, on Kickstarter, we're personally trying to answer all of them. So don't be shy and try to communicate with us, because we love the direct communication with fans.
That's great. That's a good thing. All right. Any advice that you would like to give any future game developers out there who are thinking about getting into the industry themselves?
Well, personally, I would say that this is one of the best times to be making video games. There seems to be a lot of interest out there, and even though it can be complicated to just kick off and raise the minimum money that you need to launch a project, I think it's getting easier and easier to do. Funding is getting more and more accessible to people thanks to, for example, Kickstarter. And I think that if you have a very clear idea on what you want and you have a good product, I think people are going to support you.
All right. Pablo, how about you?
I mean, this is a perfect time to also to recycle ancient genres, because the old-fashioned games are returning to action right now. So if you want to work in video games, just by yourself, even if you are not a great graphic artist, but I don't know, you have a lot of tools to create simple graphics and create your own game, just like Minecraft, for example, that maybe it's not the best concept ever, but it works. It's perfect. Just one person working on this amazing game, and suddenly is a success. So I encourage all the people who wants to work in the video game industry. This is an amazing industry.
All right. Now, would either of you like to say anything in closing or to the fans?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah. Is there anything that either of you would like to say in closing or to the fans out there?
Pablo,
Any thoughts? I don't know. Just the same thing I just mentioned. That try to communicate with us via Twitter, via Facebook, via Kickstarter, and for sure that we will answer.
Yeah,
thank you very much to all our supporters and all backers there. It will be impossible without them.
And of course, thank you very much to you, Josh and Pink, for giving us the chance to talk about our great project, and hopefully people will like it.
Oh, no problem at all. Thank y'all for talking with me. All right. Well, everybody, since you're already here, you might as well subscribe to our YouTube channel and be sure to visit our site, tinktink.org, for all of your gaming needs. Also, if you'd like more information about Skara, The Blade Remains, look no further than below in the description where links have been provided. And if you'd like to see Skara succeed, make sure to head over to their Kickstarter page, which ends on June the 29th, which is really close. So make sure you get over there and help them out. Also, special thanks to Cesar and Pablo for talking with us today. And this has been Josh Wilson, and as always, thanks for listening to tinktink.org interviews.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you to all of you.